Hey there, math friends. Today we're going to be talking about two-step equations, and it is going to be a party. I am so excited. So the I can statement for today is I can solve two-step equations, and we are going to accomplish that by comparing these equations to a party. Let me show you how this works. So first of all, it says compare our equation to a party. So you are the host. Actually, X is the host. I don't know why it says you are the host. X is the host, or whatever the variable might be. The variable is the host. The equal sign is the door. And then you have to think about who might be at the party and when do they leave. Okay, let's start drawing a picture down here really quick. So here's your pretty little house. And there we go. And here's like, you know, the outside, with the grass. Here's your door. I'm really not an artist. And then below the ground, you've got your basement down here, right? Let's just do some stairs down to the basement. Okay, there's your basement. All right, so the first person we're going to talk about here, we're going to call him the creeper. The creeper. He's the guy who hangs out in the basement all by himself, like looking around in your stuff. And why is he going through your stuff during the party? He really should be upstairs with everybody else. So when you have a party problem, just like if you had a real party, this creeper guy, he needs to be the first one to go. Let's talk about other people at the party though. You know who I forgot to put on here? The host. So let's make sure the host is in the party room. All right, so this is the host. Might be X or Y or P or whatever the variable is. Okay, another person at the party, you can have acquaintances. So acquaintances, those are those people that you know and you kind of like, but you're not like close friends with them. So acquaintances would maybe be hanging out over on the other side of the room. Time to start labeling these. These are your acquaintances. That's a really long word. There we go. This one is the host. And this one, as you remember, is our creeper. All by himself in the basement. And then another person you might find at the party is a best friend. So the best friend is usually right beside the host. So let's put them right next together. Okay, best friend, BFF. Okay, so these are the people that we might have at our party. Now let's think about one-step equations. So we're getting to two-step, but right now one-step. So when you have this 2 and the X right next to each other, they're right beside each other, just like these best friends were. So this would be a best friend situation. They stay right beside you and only you until the very end of the party. And if you're lucky, they even help you clean up. And what about down here? The 3 is on the same level as the X, but kind of like over here, they're on the same level, but they're not right next to each other. So this is where we have an acquaintance. Same thing with this one. The X and the 5, they're on the same level, but they're not right next to each other, so it's still an acquaintance. Where is the creeper? Okay, let's see. Is it on the other page? Yeah. So this is actually a two-step equation. When you see someone like this, that 3 is hanging out in the basement all by himself and everyone else is upstairs, so that's your creeper. So let's go ahead and label him. Let's label some of the other partygoers in here. So the one upstairs with the host, but not right beside the host, that is the acquaintance. And I'll just write it like that because that's a really long word. And then this one is the host. And then don't worry about labeling numbers on the other side. You should only label the numbers on the same side as the X or whatever the variable is. Okay, so the order that these people leave in, like we said a second ago, that guy down in the basement going through all your stuff with nobody else around, he needs to be the first one to go. So let's get rid of the creeper first. They kind of show us how to do that over here. Basically, we're just gonna, right now it's being divided by 3, so to get rid of creeper, we need to multiply both sides by 3. That's what they've done here. Sometimes I like to write it like this. and it means exactly the same thing. And then the result, that cancels. You bring down your x minus 5, and then 7 times 3 equals 21. So now we have x minus 5 equals 21. Do we still have company? Is the party still going? Yeah, so let's keep going with the problem. Let's go right down here now. Who is going to be next to leave? Well, the host is going to stay because it's their house, right? So it looks like 5, which if we remember that was the acquaintance, 5 is going to be the next one to leave. Right now it's minus 5, so we'll get rid of 5 by doing plus 5 to both sides. And it's going to look like this. And finally you're going to get x equals 26. So we added the 5 here, we added it here, it canceled there, and we got 26. So now the x is all by itself and we're done with the problem. So we didn't actually have a best friend in that problem. There's not always a best friend at every party. So you just kind of have to look at each problem and see what you have there. Okay, let's try another problem. So first of all, can we identify the party goers in this problem? Look at it for a second. Look for a best friend, look for an acquaintance, and check to see if there's a creeper. Looks like we do have a best friend here, don't we? Right beside the host. That 2 is going to be our best friend. And then that 13 will be an acquaintance. So which one leaves the party first? The acquaintance that you kind of know or your best friend? Definitely the acquaintance is going to leave first. So let's get rid of 13 by subtracting it. Right now it's being added, so we're going to subtract it to get rid of it. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So we're going to subtract 13 here and subtract 13 here. This 13 cancels, and then the 55 minus 13 is going to give us that 42 right there. So party's not over quite yet. We still have the best friend hanging out with us. And we finally get rid of best friend. Right now, we're multiplying 2 times x. So to do the opposite of that, we need to divide by 2. So divide by 2 on both sides, because what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. And then we finally get x equals 21. At this point, the host is by itself, so the party is over, and that's our final answer. Let's keep going. All right, so here's a nice list of steps. Sorry about all these weird things. I don't know, it just printed funny there. Just ignore those. Here's a good list of steps. So you're going to identify the partygoers first. And then you're going to eliminate them in order. So remember, creeper goes home first, then acquaintances, and then the best friend last. So that will get you the x alone, and then you got to just double check your solution. So take your answer that you got for x, plug it back in, and make sure it makes sense. Okay, let's look at this problem right here. X plus 3 over 7 equals 1. Let's identify our partygoers. First of all, is there anybody in the basement? Yep, got our creeper here. Okay, let's identify other partygoers. There's our host. The X is host. What about the 3? What's he called? Is he a best friend or is he an acquaintance? He's an acquaintance, that's right, because he's not right next to the best friend. He's separated by that plus sign. Okay, so the first one you'd get rid of is the creeper. That would be the first one. And then once you've got rid of the creeper, you would get rid of the acquaintance. We're not actually going to solve this one, but that is the order you would go. I want you to look at this next problem. This is important because it's a little bit different. This thing right here, you notice how there's somebody in the basement, but it's stuck to the host. It's not under everybody else. He's just stuck with the host. This is what we call a creeper best friend. I know that's weird, right? Creeper best friend. And anytime it's any kind of best friend, he's going to go home last. Last, not first. So if you have a creeper best friend, then you want to get rid of the acquaintance first and then the creeper best friend. So let me show you how this would be different. So look down here. If it was like this, that's just a regular creeper there. But because up here he's only under the X, that makes him the creeper best friend. Okay, so I want to make sure you see that difference. Regular creeper here, creeper best friend there. So again, in this problem, you would get rid of acquaintance first, and then you would get rid of the creeper best friend. Okay, let's look at this example here. Negative 4x plus 6. Think about it really quick. Pause your video if you want to. What are you going to get rid of first? And let's label them. Okay, negative 4, what is he? That's going to be our BFF, our best friend. And then 6 is going to be the acquaintance. So who goes home first? 6 goes home first. And then once 6 is gone, then our negative 4 can go home. So that is how it works with party problems. I'm going to grab the assignment page and do a couple more examples, and you just keep watching as long as you think it's helpful, okay? So two-step equations. It's totally fine if you're copying this onto a blank sheet of paper, or if you'd rather print it out, that works too. So we're starting right off the bat with that special situation we just talked about. This right here, what did we call it? That is our creeper best friend. Creeper BFF. I'm just going to label it like that. So remember, that is going to be the last one to go home. That not negative 4, positive 4 is going to be the last one to go home. So let's get rid of the acquaintance first. It says plus 2, so we're going to get rid of it by going minus 2. Now what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So let's go over here and do it again. These two cancel out to 0. 6 minus 2 equals 4. So now we have 4 equals a over 4. Right now, a is being divided by 4, the creeper best friend, and we're going to send creeper best friend home by doing the opposite of dividing. So we're going to multiply by 4. Times 4 times 4. So finally we're going to get, I'll just write it over here, 16 equals a. Now you do want to double check, make sure this makes sense, especially if you're not completely sure what you're doing is right. So here's how you double check. You would take the answer you got for A and you plug it in where A is. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing. It might look a little messy, but just stick with me. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing, and instead of writing A, I'm going to write 16. 6 equals, whoops, there we go, 16 over 4 plus 2. Okay, now let's simplify. 6 equals, and let's see, 16 divided by 4, what is that? That's going to be 4 plus 2. And does 6 equal 4 plus 2? Yeah, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 equals 6. Oh, phew. Looks like we did that right. Good work, guys. Let's do a couple more examples. Again, just watch as long as it's helpful, okay? Let's look at this. I'm not going to solve this one, but I want to point out who our partygoers are. First of all, 6 is not stuck to the x, so negative 6 has to be an acquaintance. But what about over here? You've got that 4 right underneath the x. That is going to be our creeper best friend. So who goes home first? Acquaintance or creeper best friend? That's right. Acquaintance goes home first. So get rid of this guy and then get rid of this guy. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, this one is a little bit different. Let's label our partygoers. So 9 is right next to the x. That means 9 is our best friend helping us with that party, right beside our side. Okay, and then we have minus 7. So that looks like an acquaintance. They're on the same level as us, but they're not right next to us. So which one of those goes home first? The acquaintance goes home first. Good. So let's go ahead and get rid of the minus 7. Right now it's minus 7. We want to do the opposite of that, so plus 7. Plus 7 on both sides. So that's going to cancel out to 0. And you're left with 9x equals, let's see, negative 7 plus 7. Oh, that's going to equal 0. Okay. So now we have 9x equals 0. We still have to get rid of this BFF right here. And we're going to do that by dividing. Because right now it's 9 times x. So we need to do divided by 9 to get rid of it. So divide everything by 9. And 0 divided by 9 is still going to be 0. So x is going to equal 0. If you want to double check your work, take that 0, plug it in where that x was. I'm just going to kind of talk through it in my head. 9 times 0 equals 0. 0 minus 7 equals negative 7. And we got negative 7 over here. So yeah, looks like we got that right too. Yay us. Let's keep going. Which one should we do? Looks like we have another creeper best friend there and another creeper best friend there. Here we have just a good old-fashioned creeper. So let's do that one. So we have creeper. And here we have, what do we have? Acquaintance. There we go. So which one goes home first? The creeper goes home first. Excellent. How do we get that creeper out of the basement? Right now we're being divided by 6, so to get rid of the 6, we're going to multiply by 6. So times 6 on both sides. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Over here, those 6's are going to cancel, and you're just left with 5 plus x. Now we have our acquaintance. Acquaintance needs to go home. So right now it's a positive 5 being added to the x. So we're going to get rid of it by subtracting 5 from both sides. That cancels out to 0. And negative 6 minus 5 is going to give us a negative 11 equals x. So I hope that gets you off on the right foot for this assignment. You know what? Let's do one more. I just noticed I haven't done one like this. Let's do number 8. Okay, so for this one, whenever you have a number in front of parentheses, like this, you could distribute, or you could get rid of the 2 first. Let's just go ahead and distribute for now. 2n plus, okay, 2 times 5 is 10. So what we just did is we said 2 times n plus 2 times 5, and that gives us 2n plus 10 equals negative 2. Now, once we have this, it's easy to see. We have best friend here, and we have acquaintance here. And then you would just go through and solve it like we did the others. So I hope that helps, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!